Appreciate you joining us here on India Business Hour. Let me start by asking you, Aniruddha, and we've heard from the Reserve Bank governor who spoke about issuing show-cause notices to the banks in question. We heard from the bank saying that our internal audits done by external auditors like KPMG have shown categorically that there is no evidence of money laundering. Yes, there have been KYC violations. Yes, there may have been some procedural violations. Are you suggesting that these banks in question, and I'm only talking about the three who we have actually on record reacting to your previous sting and having gone through the internal audit as well as the audit done by the Reserve Bank, are you suggesting that they're lying?
Of course I'm suggesting they're lying. They're lying through their teeth. I mean, they're not only lying, they're misleading the public. I mean, at the systemic level, when you have so many branches doing it, where each one of those officers is saying that they have done it in the past and giving instances of having done it in the past, and the investigation, money laundering investigation, only one or two agencies are specialized to do it, and Enforcement Directorate is one of them. And the Government of India is not going to Enforcement Directorate, it is going to some dubious, Indian Bank Association or something like that.
But Aniruddha, one second. Are you saying that the Reserve Bank is not equipped to deal with this? Are you saying that the Reserve Bank itself is dubious?
I'm saying that the Reserve Bank is categorically not equipped to deal with criminal investigations of a laundering nature. There might be good personnel there for auditing, but if you need a professional forensic analysis, you need to seal hard drives, you need custodial interrogation of these people, you need to access deleted mails from hard disks. So this is not, I don't think the RBI is equipped for this.
So you are saying that you're saying there is a conspiracy. So you're saying there is a conspiracy of silence and there is a cover-up. They're two very different things. You're saying there is a cover-up at the end of the regulator, and you in fact go on to call the regulator protector instead of a regulator. So you're suggesting that there is a conspiracy at the end of the Reserve Bank of India and a conspiracy of silence.
I would say that for the simple reason that I think there are larger questions at play in the minds of these people. Erroneously, in my opinion, they feel as if they have to protect the entire financial system, which is a legitimate sort of reason for them. They feel that the financial, or if the banks come under a cloud, foreign, you won't be able to open LCs abroad and so on and so forth. They have to comply with international regulation, treaties of black money and money laundering and so on and so forth. So it is normal for them to do it, but I should remind them and I should insist on this point that you don't build accountability in a system till you have certain systems in place and you punish the people who are not sort of following your own KYC norms.
Okay.
I mean, they are sort of hedging the bets and saying that, okay, let us plead to some lesser crime. Maybe let us sort of say, okay, some insurance mis-selling happened, some KYC violation happened, but let us not admit to money laundering.
Let's understand this, Aniruddha, because on one hand, you say that the Reserve Bank is guilty of a conspiracy of silence and a conspiracy of cover-up. On the other hand, in your own press release, you also go on to say that the Reserve Bank's own audit report indicting these banks is now out, forcing the banking regulator to follow it with punitive action against the erring banks. So you do at one point also see that the Reserve Bank has followed through with the action against these particular banks that you questioned.
No, what I'm saying is that I just requested in the press conference that they should make that audit report public. I mean, we are all speculating about that audit report. Even I have had some information from sources about that audit report, but that audit report has not been made public. So all of us are speculating on this. So we really don't know what they have gone and found in those 34 banks that they have said that they have gone and found things.
Aniruddha, may I ask you a question? Because, you know, in your press release, you talk about how this was an undercover investigation conducted for more than half a year, spanning many states. Why would you do this in installments? If you had all of this evidence which pertains to the 23 financial institutions that you've named in your sting operation part 2 today, why did you not release all of this information when you brought the three private sector banks to light on the 14th of March?
I'm surprised that you asked this question being a television person. It takes time to transcribe tapes, it takes time to do post-production. FCP, television is inherently time consuming. So you do something, you take a editorial call, let's go with this first, let's do that. So you're saying it
was essentially a time constraint. You didn't react to what the regulator did. It wasn't a strategy of saying, let's see what the government and the Reserve Bank do with the first investigation and then let's put it out.
All that is incidental. All that is incidental. It is basically the time that goes into production of television products. And being a small production house, it obviously takes us a lot more time than it would take a national channel.
Okay, Aniruddha, may I also ask you another question? Because in your press release, you go on to say, while the RBI should take a rethink on its licensing policy, as many private insurance and NBFC players are making a beeline to seek regular banking licenses from the central bank, and the IRDA should forbid all insurers to entertain cash transaction. May I ask you if the sting was actually in some way also related to the fact that we are probably going to see an opening up of the banking sector after more than a decade, and we do have a beeline of private corporates wanting to get a banking license. Was it connected in any way, the motivation to actually uncover all of this, also to the fact that we are possibly going to see an opening up of this sector?
No. Motivation wasn't that. Motivation was that we have several agitations in India over black money. I don't need to name those agitations. They were about getting money from outside. So we investigated. We found that black money is existing. I mean, you're so worried about getting money which is stored away in Swiss banks, which might well be the case. But and you say that you don't have that authority to get that money from Europe or your offshore accounts or wherever. But you are the kings of India. You run India. You have different agencies, so you can look at what is in your house instead of bothering about what is outside. And it was and if the banking thing is insurance. I mean, if nobody knew that they would be announcing the licenses now that more private players will be getting. But it is a sort of warning sign that some of these people, insurance companies, have, according to media reports, I really don't know, that they are considering applying for these banking licenses. And if this is their conduct before they are getting banking licenses, if they get the banking licenses, what their conduct is going to be, it is anybody's guess.
So you're saying, Aniruddha, that this entire process of issuing new bank licenses must be put on hold till we have conclusive proof that none of these banks or insurance companies were actually involved in any of the allegations that you've put forward?
No, I don't understand business matters as well as you understand them, and I'm not making any demands. I'm just saying that there has to be transparency, and there has to be transparency in the way perhaps that these licenses are given out. Perhaps that transparency is in place, but unless you have a sort of detailed mapping of who is getting these licenses and what their role, I assume that their previous conduct would be a sort of big marker in the way these licenses are given, and they would examine them whether those companies have systems in place that they cannot sort of go ahead and do what we have been seeing the personals of other banks doing. And I've heard you say this, Aniruddha, that this is not a problem which is, at the low level of the banking or the insurance or the financial sector. This is a leadership issue. Why do you believe that this is a leadership issue? And why is it not procedural violations and people in bank branches actually extending themselves? Why are you saying that this is a crisis of leadership at the top as far as the banking community is concerned? Of course, it is apparent. Shereen, if something happens in your channel, if your reporters are misleading, if your reporters are doing something wrong, you are morally responsible, if not ethically and legally. If your branches, I mean, I can understand 1 or 2 branches, 3 branches, something happening and the top management not knowing. But SDFC, I say, like dozens of branches, 20, 25 branches, and you don't know what is happening. I mean, what kind of story is that? I mean, I really don't know that you could get away with a story like that. Besides, there are officers who are saying in these banks that they send mails for approval to senior management when cash is involved, and senior management sends a mail back. So I want to know who has the custody of those mails, whether those mails have been deleted, who is doing that criminal investigation to find out about these mails. This can happen only in custodial interrogation of these people. So
you're saying that the investigation should basically move to the ED?
That would be my suggestion. I mean, what has the Indian Banking Association or whatever to do anything? I mean, do they even know how to do an investigation? I mean, they are giving it to, I mean, as if they are running away from a professional investigative agency. No. Let's not involve CBI economic offences. Let's not involve ED. They might get at the truth. Who knows? If it's an independent agency and the government doesn't do sort of some really supervisory thing that they are doing with CBI, then the agency might just get a free hand to get at the truth, and that's what they want to avoid, that at all costs.
Aniruddha Bahal, is there a part 3 of Operation Red Spider?
Yes, there is. It will be coming soon.
Can you give us some indication of the timeline, and will it again be banks, insurance companies, or are you looking at a different constituency altogether?
It will be what it is. I think we have earmarked 9th May, which is 3 days from now for that.
9th May is when Operation Red Spider Part 3 will be put to the public.
That's right.
All right, Aniruddha Bahal, we'll catch up with you then to take stock of the latest expose. 9th May is when the third installment of the Cobrapost Operation Red Spider Sting will be made public. Aniruddha Bahal, appreciate you joining us here on India Business Hour. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.